if I can just if I could just make a request, I think there's one or two people that aren't muted. So if everyone could just stay muted. As I go through the presentation, if you have questions, put them in the chat, but we will have some time at the end to kind of answer specific questions that you all have. It, like Amber mentioned, this won't take long, so I don't want to hold up too much time of your evening. But again, I'm Brittany. I am one of the relationship specialists with ABLEnow. So essentially what I do is kind of travel around the state and educate individuals and families on the benefits of ABLE savings programs. And so really just lucky to partner with Special Olympics over the past couple of years and be able to share this information with you all. So we'll go ahead and get started. So what I'm going to kind of cover tonight, we'll briefly talk about the ABLE Act and kind of the rules and requirements that establish the ABLE Savings Program. We'll talk about eligibility. We do have some great news surrounding eligibility because that will be expanding within the next year or so. We'll look at those qualified disability expenses, and I'll also spend that time to kind of talk about what some of the current and previous athletes have even used their ABLE funds for. So just to kind of get a better understanding of what the funds in an ABLE account can be used for. And then we'll finish up with looking at opening an account and how to manage the account. The reason this is really important is because ABLE accounts are a relatively new financial tool for eligible Americans with disabilities, and it's really empowering the self-determination and financial independence. ABLE will be turning, the Federal ABLE Act will be turning 10 this year, but only still about 1% of eligible Americans actually have an ABLE account. That number may be a little bit higher now. So we are still doing our state program, and the other state programs are still doing a lot of advocacy and educating the public on the benefit of these programs. I do want to make a quick note. I am a state employee. I'm not a lawyer or a financial advisor. So if you do have those specific like legal, financial, or tax questions, you just want to make sure you reach out to an individual that will be able to assist you. All right, so we'll go ahead and just take a moment now to kind of look at the ABLE Act, or what is ABLE. So again, ABLE accounts are a relatively new savings option specifically designed for eligible individuals with disabilities to save private funds for the purpose of paying for qualified disability expenses. So you all probably know, but for far too long, people with disabilities could not save for the future out of the fear of losing their public benefits. And, if you're receiving certain benefits, you can only have up to $2,000 in assets at any given time in order to remain eligible for those specific means tested public benefits, which again, those benefits provide much needed support and services. So the idea for ABLE actually started 15 to 20 years ago when a group of parents in Northern Virginia were frustrated that they could establish college savings accounts for their children or other types of savings accounts for their children without disabilities, but they couldn't really save money for their children with disabilities. So these advocates fought to change that inequity, which resulted in the ABLE Act. So, with the ABLE Act, individuals are empowered to save up to $18,000 per year without in their ABLE account without endangering eligibility for certain means tested disability benefits, such as their SSI or Medicaid. I do want to mention that working account holders who do not participate in an employer sponsored retirement plan can actually save a little more in their ABLEnow account. And I believe that amount for 2024 is around $32,580. So for most individuals, they can save up to $18,000 in their account, but some of the individuals are eligible to save a little bit more because they're working but they're not participating in an employer-sponsored retirement plan. So again, the ABLE Act was passed into law in 2014, and the Virginia became one of the first states to pass it into law in 2015. And ABLE stands for Achieving a Better Life Experience, because essentially that's what they're trying to do for individuals. So that's the ABLE Act. So you'll hear ABLE accounts, the ABLE Act, that's the federal legislation. So what is ABLEnow? ABLEnow is the largest independent direct sold ABLE savings program in the country. And our program opened back in December of 2016. Although ABLEnow is sponsored by the Commonwealth of Virginia, it is available nationwide to eligible US citizens and legal residents, regardless of state residency. And today we actually have ABLE accounts in all 50 states. And then later in the presentation, you'll hear me talk about some of the advantages of the ABLEnow program, including the industry's first mobile app, which would help you all be able to manage those ABLE accounts on the go. ABLEnow is administered by Commonwealth Savers, which was formerly known as Virginia 529. Commonwealth Savers is an independent state agency of the Commonwealth of Virginia. And so we have programs such as the ABLEnow program, the Invest 529 Education Savings Program as well. All right, so the big question we get a lot is, how do I know if I'm eligible or my loved one is eligible? So who is eligible? Currently, an eligible individual is someone who developed the onset of their disability before the age of 26, and they are entitled to supplemental security income or Social Security disability insurance based on blindness or disability, or they can self-certify that they have a qualifying disability diagnosis from a physician. So it's kind of a nice split between those who are eligible because they're receiving benefits and those who do the self-certify. The really nice thing is we do have a form on our website that allows for individuals to print off if they are going to self-certify. And essentially what they're doing is just having their physician sign off on that form that states that, yes, they do have that qualifying disability diagnosis. I do want to note that it is important to know that an eligible individual can only have one ABLE account at any given time. So let's say let's say maybe you're going to help your child open their ABLEnow account, or you're going to help manage it for them. Their Aunt Susie couldn't go and open an ABLE account for them either. They could only have that one ABLE account. And another question we get a lot is, can someone be older than 26 and still be eligible for an ABLEnow account? And the answer is yes, just as long as they've had their disability prior to the age of 26. Now, I do want to note that the eligibility requirements are going to expand over the next, or within a year or so. Starting on January 1st of 2026, the age limit will go up from 26 to onset of disability of age 46. So it's going to mean that millions of more people with disabilities will then be able to take advantage of this important savings tool. So currently onset is age 26, but January 1st of 2026, that age limit will go up to age 46. Great. So you open that ABLE account, you could save up to $18,000 per year in that account. Those limits may be going up for 2025. We typically will announce that closer to the end of the year. But what can you use the money for? So money in your ABLE account may be used at any time to pay for a qualified disability expense. And an expense is qualified if it was incurred at the time the individual was considered an eligible individual. The expense relates to their disability, and the expense helps to maintain their health, independence, and quality of life. And so that's the important part you want to remember there. Is the expense going towards the eligible individual? And is the expense helping to maintain their health, independence, and quality of life? Now, examples of a qualified disability expense include but are not limited to the categories you see listed on the screen. So these categories were intentionally designed to be as broad as possible because every individual is going to have a different need for their account. So a lot of our account holders use it for day-to-day basic living expenses, food, clothing, groceries, different things like that. Transportation is another big category that we see. Health and wellness. We have a lot of individuals interested in assistive technology. But then we get to the quality of life expense, and those are that's the category that it really is going to depend on the individual. So a few years ago, I interviewed one of the previous global messengers, Alex, and he mentioned that he had just got his driver's license and he wanted to know, could he purchase a car? And so, yes, like if that's something he wanted to do, but we um, also talked about just different things that, maybe the athlete wants to purchase new equipment or something that they're interested in for maybe the sport that they're playing. They could use their ABLEnow funds to help cover a purchase like that. We, over the past year, interviewed one of the global messengers, Samantha or Sam, and we talked about how Sam used her ABLE funds or would use ABLE funds to, purchase different things that interest her, would go to that quality of life. We've had individuals travel, go on vacation. So again, those quality of life expenses are really going to be dependent on the individual. And again, you really just want to make sure that the funds that you're using the funds for things that are maintaining their health, independence, and quality of life. The great thing is that we don't require any receipts or documentation of proof of what you're using the funds for. But again, like any other financial account, we do encourage you to just keep track of that or record those receipts in the expense tracker just for your record keeping. I do want to mention before I go into this slide, every account holder will also receive a Visa debit card. And so that card can be used wherever Visa is accepted. And so that makes it really easy for individuals to use the funds in their ABLEnow account. So what are the advantages of saving in an ABLEnow account? So again, that first one is save beyond those asset limitations. Funds in an ABLEnow account are disregarded when determining eligibility for certain means-tested benefit programs such as Medicaid, SSI, and SSDI. Now, I do have to note for individuals who are receiving SSI, their account balance can grow up to or can go up to $100,000. Once they exceed $100,000, their SSI benefits could be reduced or suspended. So again, you can save up to $18,000 per year, but some individuals just truly save and build their account. So for individuals who are receiving SSI, your account balance can go up to $100,000, but once you exceed that, keep in mind those SSI benefits could be reduced or suspended. There's no impact on Medicaid benefits, regardless of how much money is in the ABLEnow account. So that is a really nice feature. And the same with SSDI as well. The other benefit is you can save with the help of others. So anyone can make a contribution to your ABLEnow account, including the account holder, their family, their friends. You can even set up direct deposits. So maybe they're receiving a reoccurring payment, or maybe they want to put their Social Security benefit, into their ABLEnow account. Maybe they're working and they want to link, have their paycheck go directly into their ABLEnow account. You can have direct deposits set up, which makes it really easy to save. The third feature or advantage is you can save an account designed for your unique needs. ABLE accounts are flexible and low cost to maintain. You can manage your account anytime, anywhere with accessible online tools in that mobile app. And again, you can pay for those qualified disability expenses with your ABLEnow card. And the great thing is the ABLEnow card is available to all account holders at no additional cost. There's also, the card was designed with a notch on the side, so those that are visually impaired can easily find the card in their wallet and know that that's their ABLEnow card. And then that final advantage is you can save tax-free. So again, ABLE accounts are tax advantage savings accounts for individuals with disabilities. So earnings in your ABLEnow account, so earnings on the investments in your ABLEnow account grow tax-free, and you are never taxed when you're using the funds to pay for a qualified disability expense. ABLEnow contributions may also qualify for the Savers Tax Credit if the account holder is eligible. And in addition, there's also a state tax deduction benefit for Virginia residents. And so the way that that works is that if you are a Virginia resident and you make a contribution to an ABLEnow account, you would be able to take up to a $2,000 state tax deduction from your Virginia individual state income taxes. So again, offering a nice tax benefit for individuals who do have an ABLEnow account. All right, so I mentioned investments and how investments can grow tax-free. So we do have some investment options for those that do open an ABLEnow account. And again, we're trying to make it really easy for individuals to be able to save and invest at their own pace. So here's kind of how this works. The first $2,000 in your ABLEnow account is automatically allocated to a interest-bearing FDIC insured deposit account. And that account is what's linked to your debit card. So a lot of times we just call that the deposit account. So again, that first $2,000 goes into your deposit account, which is linked to your debit card. Now, once the balance of your deposit account exceeds $2,000, we'll say, hey, you now have the option to invest additional contributions into one or more investment portfolio. Again, this is optional, so you don't have to do this. You can have the funds just continue to go into your deposit account. But maybe you do want to invest some of the money, or maybe you do want to save long term. So again, once your deposit account exceeds $2,000, you'll have that option to invest those additional contributions. And you can see the 4 different investment portfolio options that are available. There's an aggressive growth, moderate growth, conservative income, and a money market. The first 3 are Vanguard investment options, and the money market is a Fidelity investment portfolio. So again, I do want to stress that this is optional. You don't have to invest your funds if you don't want to. You can continue to have them go in that deposit account, and that deposit account does earn that same tax-free interest as well, that tax-free growth. All right, so there are minimal costs associated with maintaining your account with ABLEnow. So ABLEnow, along with our custodian PNC Bank, offers some of the lowest fees in the country when it comes to the ABLE programs. Plus, the fees are the same for all customers, regardless of what state they live in. The great thing is there's no enrollment fee and no minimum contribution. So some of our account holders may open their account and put some funds in there and then just maybe let it sit. You don't have to worry about making a monthly contribution or meeting a certain minimum each month. There is a current account service fee of $3.25 per month. That fee is that fee is waived if there is a balance of $10,000 in that deposit account. And then, of course, if the account holder or their authorized representative were to decide to invest some of those funds, there are some asset-based fees depending on the investment portfolio that they choose. All right, so we're going to take a look now at how to open an account. So you're going to go directly to our website, ablenow.com. And at the top of the screen, you can see that there's that Open an Account tab. So we try to put it right there at the top of the screen, make it really easy for everyone. So who can open an account? So if the eligible individual, so the individual with the disability is over the age of 18, they can open and manage their own account. Now, if the eligible individual is a minor under the age of 18, or maybe they're unable to open their account or choose to open an account but not exercise signature authority, they can actually have someone authorized to act on their behalf open and manage the account for them. And this is what we call a authorized representative. Now, this slide is just kind of showing you what information is needed and also who can open an account as an authorized representative. So if the individual is going to open the account themselves, they're just going to need to provide their personally identifiable information. So think of the things you provide to like your bank if you're opening a new bank account. So that's your name, your date of birth, your social security number, email, address, phone number. If the individual is going to have an authorized representative open the account with them, they're going to have to provide that same information, but some of the categories will have to provide some additional information as well. So who can open an account as that authorized representative? So the first category is going to be eligible family member. This is going to be parent, grandparent, sibling, and spouses. They can open an ABLEnow account by self-certifying their relationship to the eligible individual. And for these individuals who fall in that category, they actually don't have to provide any documentation of the relationship or any sort of legal documentation. So again, if you are a parent of an individual and you want to help them manage their account, you can go in and open that account with them as their authorized representative, and you wouldn't have to provide any type of documentation or proof of that relationship. Now, legal guardians, power of attorneys, care representatives, and rep payees can all open accounts as well. But if you fall in that category, you would need to provide some additional documentation. But don't worry, we will notify you and let you know what documentation is needed if you do fall in that category. But a lot of individuals do fall in the eligible family member category, so it's really easy for them to be able to open and help manage that account as the authorized representative. Right, so how to manage your account, access your account. So you can use the online portal or the mobile app to manage your account anytime, anywhere. It's available 24/7. The great thing is the mobile app is available through the iOS devices through the Apple App Store, and for Android devices through Google Play. You can check balances, pay for qualified disability expenses. You can make a contribution, upload receipts to organize and track those through the expense tracker. You can view statements, notifications, and even reach out to customer service. The one thing we do like to stress is to protect your account with a strong password and then encouraging your loved one to log into their account often and make sure their information is up to date. In case we need to send them a notification or anything, we want to make sure that we have their correct mailing address, phone number, and email as well. And then a new feature that's available just specifically for account holders is the Financial Resource Hub. So this is something that we partnered with PNC Bank to work on, and it just kind of creates, it's a resource for individuals that have a lot of information there on financial independence and financial wellness. So it allows for them to kind of explore the content and the tools that are available and really helps to just strengthen their financial wellness and maximize usage of their ABLEnow account. All right, so if you've been at some of the events that we've done with Special Olympics, you may have seen these enter to win signs out and about and around. But just a chance for you all to enter to win $500 towards an ABLEnow account, regardless if you currently have one or if you're interested in opening one. You can go to that web link, ablenow.com/win, to enter. And I'll leave this up for a second. If you all want to write that information down, or if you have your phone, you can also scan that QR code as well. And I see a few people grabbing their phones, so I will leave it up for just a moment. Did it come up for you, Anne Marie? Were you able to get it? If the QR code's not working, you can, the same web link, ablenow.com/win will bring up the same form. Perfect. Awesome. Okay. Perfect. All right. So I told you all this would be, it's a quick information session. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to cover some of the frequently asked questions, and then if you all have questions, please feel free. We could spend a few minutes if you all have questions towards after I cover these. So the first question, again, that we get often is, I'm older than the age of 26. Can I open an ABLEnow account? And the answer is yes. So keep in mind, the onset of the disability has to occur prior to the age of 26. But the individual can be older and still be eligible. So for example, let's say they are 37, but they were born with their disability, they can definitely open an ABLEnow account. Do I need to live in a certain state to open an ABLEnow account? You do not. So the nice thing is, let's say you open an account with us, you're a Virginia resident, but maybe you relocate, maybe you move to another state, you could still keep your account with us. You don't have to worry about transferring it or closing it out. How much can I save in my ABLEnow account each year? So for 2024, individuals are empowered to save up to $18,000 in their account. And for 2025, we do think that that limit will go up a little bit. Can I have a special needs trust in a ABLEnow account? And this is a question that we receive a lot, and the answer is yes. So individuals can definitely have an ABLEnow account in conjunction with other types of trust and accounts. And it may make sense for them to have both an ABLE account and a special needs trust. I have spoken with plenty of families who have both and utilize both. There are some great resources out there that kind of talk about both a special needs trust and an ABLEnow account. And we're not the special needs trust experts. So if you do have those questions, we just encourage you to reach out to the appropriate individuals who would be able to assist you. But yes, you can have both. And for some families, it may be a necessity to have both, or they just may want to plan and have both to use. Who can contribute to an ABLEnow account? And the answer is anyone can make a contribution. So, the holidays are coming up, and, if you have a loved one that you want to open that ABLEnow account for them, you could tell their friends and family they can make those gift contributions to an ABLEnow account, maybe as a Christmas gift or a holiday gift. And then lastly, where do I go to open my ABLEnow account? This is a really important question. A lot of people tell me that they try to go to a bank to open their account, or call PNC Bank. You're going to do everything directly through our website, ablenow.com. You don't actually have to go to a bank or go anywhere in person to open and establish that account. We have a lot of amazing resources available on our website. We have an eligibility quiz. We have additional FAQs. We have some really amazing blog articles that touch on a number of different topics. So I really encourage everyone to kind of check out that website and see what resources are available there. But that being said, I will share the customer service information. If you leave the session today, Amber recorded it, so she will share this if you need to go back. But let's say you have a question later, or you need some assistance with your application. Our customer service team is available Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5, and they'll be more than happy to assist you if you do have questions or need any assistance. So I will pause now to see if there's any questions. If you want to, if you need to unmute, if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer.
This is amazing. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Yeah.
We're adopting one of our longstanding athletes, and
Okay. Yeah.
this was mentioned to me last week, and then I got the email about the set. I've heard it peripherally, but really didn't have a lot of information. So this has been wonderful. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. That's really awesome. Yeah, I have a adopted younger brother as well, and I keep calling my dad like, you need to open the open the able, and so I think they're finally getting ready to open theirs as well. So I'm really happy to hear that. Yep.
My wife is a rep payee for our son.
Yes. Okay.
And could she also just open it as a family member?
Yeah. Yep. It would probably be preferential to do it as the family member over the rep payee. And then that way, as the family member, you wouldn't even have to worry about submitting any type of documentation. So I would go ahead and just open it as the parent, the family member, instead of going the rep payee route.
Okay, just the fact that his SSDI, they've made me become the rep payee, that doesn't affect it at all?
It does not, no. Yeah. And there are families who similar situation where they're the rep payee for their loved one, but you would still be able to open your account through that family member route instead of having to go the rep payee route.
Okay, then would the card still be in his name, or would the card be in the rep payee's name?
The card would be in your name, but then you can always request an additional card in his name as well.
Okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And you had mentioned SSI, there was a limit of $100,000.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
But on SSDI,
SSDI, is there any limit?
No, there's not. So just for the SSI. Yep.
Okay.
And if you were to open up an account, you could deposit up to $18,000.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. And so keep an eye on our website. I do think that limit will go up next year. And so like I mentioned, we typically, once we get that confirmation, we usually announce that towards the end of December. So when ABLE accounts first started, when we first opened our program in 2016, the limit was only $14,000. And then it stayed at 14 for a few years. And then it kind of went up. But for the past couple of years, just because of like inflation and everything, that limit has gone up over the past couple of years. So we are fingers crossed that, it'll go up again for 2025. Yep.
And his work history doesn't affect anything. His income that he gets work-wise with his SSDI, this doesn't affect that at all.
No, it doesn't. Nope. Yeah. So he would still need to like abide by, those rules and things that he has around work,
right.
But it wouldn't impact the ABLE account. No, very good question.
I don't have a question per se, but I do want to note, at least to Jim and Anne Marie, that we are certainly grateful to Brittany, but always looking to find ways to share this more with our local programs. So, if it would ever be helpful, I'm sure Brittany would be a resource. Like if there was a more localized webinar, we send out the invitation, obviously, to a large group, but if there's a space where we could work with ABLEnow to send some resources, I think we're always open to ideas there to just reach more families and let them know about the resources.
Absolutely. Yes. Yep.
Well, I'm the Area 2 coordinator in Hampton Roads, so this will certainly be on our agenda for our next board.
Yeah. Yeah, yep.
You
And
did.
I cover Hampton Roads too. So I'm trying to remember. There was a global messenger who her and her mom both worked at Chesapeake Regional Hospital.
Caitlin,
Yes, yes. And so total side note, total tangent, but I met them at the benefits fair at the hospital. I was actually working on the college savings side. And so we go to a lot of benefits fairs. And she came over and was like, "Oh, I want the ABLE information." I was like, "Oh my God, that's so great." You know, we're talking about it. And then turned around, and then I think we were doing global messenger training or something. And I was like, "Oh my gosh," you know, so it was just like small world. But yeah, I cover Hampton Roads as well. So we could definitely, you know, I tell people all the time we can share resources, you know, set up a virtual, set up in person. Sometimes I think people may prefer in person over virtual, or they may prefer virtual over in person. But we have, you know, material in our office we can always send out as well. So yeah, we can definitely do something.
We have an area-wide Christmas party in December. Maybe I can reach out to you.
Yeah, yep. Hey,
We'll
that
have
sounds
200 or
exciting.
300 athletes and family. Be
Yeah.
careful what you offer.
I know.